Why can't you seem to catch a break? You're doing all the right things and things still aren't working out. You have the morning routine, you're taking care of your health, you're eating right, you're exercising, you're even journaling, right? And journaling's weird because, like, you're talking to no one, you're talking to yourself, and you can write whatever you want to write. And we get to choose what we're writing. So that's weird. Anyways, we're doing all the right things, and yet things are still popping up that trigger you. Your energy still feels heavy. You're doing all the things, but you still have these intense waves of sadness, or you're doing all the right things, but you just can't get your nervous system to respond in a healthy way, or you're doing all the things and you just keep attracting the wrong people, the wrong jobs, the wrong relationships, the wrong friendships, and maybe even the wrong cashiers, right? So, what do we do when we're already doing everything that we can do? We relax, we surrender, we let go of control. So, this is where I want you to ask yourself, are you doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing in order to give yourself love, in order to fill your cup up, in order to feel that your body is capable of doing things? We do the meditation and the journaling so that we know that our brain can be clear. But, obviously the things aren't working. Our brain's not clear, right? So, are we doing these things with the expectation that if we do these things, our life is going to be perfect? Everything's going to work out. Well, in the spiritual world, yes, that's what we're taught. We're taught if you do the right thing, everything's going to work out. The problem is we have this misconception that everything's going to work out means that everything is smooth and hunky-dory. So this world is such a thing of duality because there's not black and white. There's not good or bad. There's not working out and not working out. It's all about your reaction and your perception to the situation. You can change whether you're sad or happy about a thing. And I say that fully knowing that I spent years wanting to change things going on inside, and I couldn't change those things no matter how bad I tried, no matter how much I exercised, no matter how much I meditated, no matter how much I tried to reach out to someone to feel understood. It wasn't ever enough. And where was the line where it finally became enough? I am not sure. I know it was a day by day process, minute by minute process, right? It was, I know. Here's the thing, it really hurts when you are a good person and you are doing the right things and the path seems to not be working out for you. Okay, so I just started, how do we know what's working out, right? Like, because then you get into the spectrum of good and bad and black and white. Here's a good baseline of judging good and bad. How does it make you feel inside? Does it make you feel depressed and stagnant, or does it make you feel excited and expansive? Those are some good guidelines. So if you're like doing all the right things and you're still not feeling excited and expansive, just keep doing the right things, because that means there's still things there. We have to understand that we are not a human coming into this experience as just our life from birth to where we are now, however old you are. Just a moment. I gotta take a drink. In this earth, everything, all the energy already exists. Nothing is created nor destroyed. It just changes shapes, right? You think of a tree, it dies, it decomposes, it becomes part of the soil, it becomes part of the rock. A lizard gets eaten by an animal, like food chain, everything is changing, right? Which I think it's really weird we started putting humans in coffins and just not allowing the human body to go back into earth. But that's beside the point. I did lose my train of thought there. These energies, nothing's okay. So we come from parents. And if you have ever met children and parents, it is obvious that the energy is carried on. So, in the realm of unseen energies, it is believed that we have ancestral energies. And they like to say it's a 7 generation. So 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. Those are the energies that this is made up of. And I did say 7 generations forward. This is still made up of 7 generations forward because time doesn't exist. It's all happening at once. I've experimented with this. I've played with this. I can say these things to be true because I know if you know, then it can be proven. So don't knock it because you haven't experienced it. Okay, so we have all these energies from all these ancestral things, and those are unseen energies that are going to affect our physical state on an unseen level. It's going to affect our mental state on an unseen level. It's going to affect our traumas, our patterns. Like you can have a situation where you just feel a pit in your stomach and it could really have nothing to do with you on your timeline right there. It could be an ancestral energy coming up of, like for me, this speaking, I can tell. I was going through some old journals, and this is personal and vulnerable, but I'm going to say it just as an example. I wrote down, see, I'm getting chills right now. I wrote down about a past experience where I was in like a castle, and it was, it was a dark room. I was writing by candlelight with one of those fancy ink pens. Medieval, I was in a castle. Like, wow. And I was writing things, and then people came in, and then I was killed. So there was this experience, whether it was an ancestor or me, which is still me because it's this energy. We kind of are our ancestors. I know it feels weird to think that you are your grandmother, but like you are. I don't want to say those words. In past experiences, this energy has been killed more than once for attempting to use their voice, attempting to lead others, attempting to stand up for what is right in the eyes of love. I paused there because when it comes to right and wrong, what's legal, what's not, what's moral, what's not, different religions have different morals. So what we can boil it down to is what is of love, what is of kindness, what is of community. And this energy has been persecuted for that in the past. And that's probably why I am very thoroughly enjoying the opportunity to do this. My voice can now be heard worldwide. And I might get some nasty comments. That might be a thing. People might auto dub things or remix things, take things out of context, but nobody's going to burst into my home and end my energy. And that's an amazing thing. We are living in an amazing time right now. I guess I should get back on track with the video. When things aren't working out for you, they actually are working out for you. If you're doing all the right things and you're feeling depressed, you're having this situation go wrong, and this situation, the car breaks down, the washing machine breaks, all those things are happening to be releases of energy that has had nowhere to go for centuries because nobody was doing the work and everyone kept shoving everything down. No one, like, centuries ago, it's seen in human history that humans once upon a time coincided and worked together with the unseen energies. People processed things, and there was a very specific timeline where people stopped doing that, and it's become a problem. Our humanity has become sick and ill because we're neglecting very many aspects of our energies, and we are changing that now. The internet, okay, growing up, internet wasn't a thing. I was very much so shamed for using my voice and saying what I believed at a soul level. I would go to church and they're talking about a soul and they're like, "What do you believe? How do you feel God?" And I would explain how I feel God, and it wasn't good enough for them. And as a child, I was told I was bad and I was wrong. And if I talk to God, I'm pretty much just going to get yelled at for every little thing that I do. That's how I was raised. And I know that there's probably a lot of other people that have been raised to subdue the unseen, to not take the time to process their emotions, to not allow these energies to come up without judgment. So when you're feeling sad or when you're feeling anger, you feel those. I have spent the last few years allowing myself to feel emotions, and it is kind of quite embarrassing and really pathetic when I look back on think at the things that I allowed to come from me, the words, the tone of voices, the volume of voices, or even just the despair and the victimhood and pity that I felt on myself of just like crying and crying, or like explosive times of expressing anger, or just completely feeling down and being on the phone with the suicide line. These last few years, I didn't hold back. And I did have a relationship during the time, and I feel it's really sad that he had to experience all that. And at the same time, he allowed it. Like, nobody steps in and says like they want to be that support for someone, but like he did. And he didn't love me. There wasn't long term there. Like, he was really only there to hold space for me to release all that energy coming up that needed to be processed from generations and generations. And it hit a point where my soul was like, "You've released all that you can release. It's time to let this stage go and move into your power. You are no longer afraid. You can operate from love instead of fear. You can operate from truth instead of entertainment, instead of performing." It's no longer a performance. And actually, if that person is like watching my videos and stalking, because we don't talk, and when we do talk, the communication never comes across. So it's like, I hope you understand. That's how I see that. Like, you were there to hold space. And I have no idea what that did to your soul and your psyche, but I know God put you there. So I know God is going to help you get through any residual negative effects as well. A little private message. Probably won't even see that. Okay, so this video though, for everyone else that's watching, you wouldn't be watching this if this video wasn't for you. My videos are timeless, and they are messages, and they are channeled. I can tell you that every time I start talking, it becomes a part of flow where God is flowing through me. It's not my brain thinking. It's no longer Debb thinking of, I organize these thoughts and plans and this is where we're going. No. And honestly, and also when I'm doing these videos, I'm just kind of gazing into space, and once in a while my eyes will focus on the time of the video, because it's always right before work and I gotta keep track of the time so I'm not late for work. And every time my eyes seem to go to the timer, it's usually like 11:11 or 4:44. It's the angel numbers, because mathematical geometry is the language of the world that we live in. And so the more, if you feel like you are stuck, look for those signs. Look for the angel numbers. Look for the geometry. Look for the patterns. See, I just 1414. It was before that. It was 1333. You got this. If you are doing everything possible and everything is still going wrong, that means you're on the right track. You are purging, you are clearing, and everything will switch. Everything will switch. And you have to have faith in that. You have to have trust in that. I've spent so much time over the last 3 years in a really deep and dark place where I had no idea how I was going to get through. And I just got to a point where the words of a good friend was just like, you can't give up. You have to have resilience. This too shall pass. You cannot give up. And there were many times, months even, where not giving up meant just laying there all day. Because if I got up and tried to do anything, then I would be triggered and go into a spiral, and I would be scared I wouldn't make it to the end of the day. And that's real pain. You can see my eyes are you can probably tell I'm tearing up, because that's how real and true our souls are hurting. I know it was for me, and I know I see it in children, and I see it in friends, and I see it in the internet. I see it reflected in the earth that is on fire and exploding with volcanoes, and the earth's crust is literally breaking. Like in the past month, I have seen articles from Africa and near the Grand Canyon of the earth's crust literally splitting. And here where I live, like, they just had over a dozen fires explode. That has not happened before, and it is very strange, because they say it was from lightning, but there hasn't been lightning storms. I don't mean rainstorm. I know lightning can happen without rain. There haven't been clouds. There haven't been thunderclouds. Hasn't been the energy. I have lived in this spot for 15 years, and I can watch the sky for like miles, like hundreds of miles. And there hasn't been lightning. For 15 years, I can see lightning for hundreds of miles away. And I have not seen lightning. And all of a sudden, there's dozens of fires. I have spent a lot of my life as a conspiracy theorist. And it's not so much of a conspiracy theorist as it is of just some things just don't make sense. And it's seen through the truth. To the truth. The times we are living in now are indeed the times of a second coming, whatever that means, whatever the end times mean. Even scientists have played around with computers to, I can't think of the wording right now. So basically they do experiments with super, AI computers to where it can project out scenarios of mankind. It's like, if this happens, where are we going to end up? And if this happens, where are we going to end up? Like a choose your own adventure, they have plugged that into AI. And for a long time, they were getting different responses. Okay, if we do this, this will happen. And then there was a significant spot in time where they started getting back different feedback to where all scenarios led to one end point. So even science, even AI is now predicting that there is one endpoint event. And that is love. That just came out. The endpoint is love. That's where we came from. That's where we're returning to. So don't worry. Have resilience. Keep doing all the right things. Or you know what? Don't keep doing the right things. Actually, that's what I did. I got to a point where I was doing all the right things for my entire, so long. And I say, okay, I have had a good heart my entire life. And yes, I've tried to do good things, but also I've had a lot of lessons to learn. And there was a time where I gave up doing all the things. I gave up the morning routines. I gave up working hard for the perfect body. I gave up trying to journal all my thoughts, good or bad. I gave up the visualization for the future. I gave it all up, and I just sat in existence. I had handfuls of friend messaging groups, handfuls of people that I was talking to, DMing, people worldwide, friends. I dropped everything just so I could feel a moment of peace. Just to release all the weight. And how do you drop everything without bills crashing or without having serious consequences? Well, I had serious consequences. Don't get me wrong. I went through the fire and I came back out. It wasn't my first time, and it's not going to be my last. So that's the thing. If this is your first dip, take notes because it will not be your last. Our evolvement is waves and cyclical. And if you are someone that hasn't had a dark night of the soul, your soul, I'm not sure that you know the fullness of your soul yet. So either A, be prepared because it's coming, or B, you're probably not even watching this video. You're doing everything right and things still aren't going to plan. Ask yourself, can you sit with that? Can you have faith that you are doing everything right? Maybe doing everything right means taking some things off your to-do list. Maybe doing everything right is asking yourself, why are you doing all those things? Sometimes the healing and awakening journey is a distraction in its own right. We use it as the next fun thing to grab onto, the next fun thing to obsess over. And sometimes we miss the whole point of it, which is listening to the stillness within and understanding our energies, clearing out the negativity and the darkness so we can allow God's energy to flow through us, so we can live His plan, not ours. There's a reason we can't see tomorrow, because it's not for us to plan. We're here to feel God's plan and walk in God's plan moment by moment through each day and leave tomorrow up to Him. I'm going to leave it there. My name's Deb. I share the human experience, help you know you're not alone in your human experience. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share if any of this resonated with you. Help it, other people need these messages too. But also, I know these messages are always going to find the right people at the right time. But the more that we grow, the more that we get these messages out there, the more people that feel happy with themselves, the better we can make this place. So many people are miserable. Let's start there. Let's start with teaching people how to be happy. Let's start with helping people find their essence. Let's start with undoing all these crappy beliefs that we've been taught for decades. So, I'm here to build the new earth. I'm asking you to join me. Have a blessed day.